Hey everyone, welcome back to Going Gonzo. Today I'm going to talk about my nutrition plan that I chose. About 75 to 80% of my results are going to come from what I eat. The other will come from the gym. Okay, about 2015 I did this diet, just the diet alone. I didn't really do much of a workout with it, but I lost a lot of weight. And a lot of people were asking me then, what was I doing to lose all this weight? And I would show them some pictures of some of the foods that I would eat like this, and I would try to tell them about it. And they would think it would be too hard to follow. And it is hard. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Now I know this eating plan will work, and I comprised it of numerous different plans together. For the main one is the high fat low carb diet, and also the keto and the paleo diet. I put them all I pushed them together because what I did was I found out what worked for me. And that's what you have to do. You have to find out what's going to work for you, your body, your taste, but it has to work. You have to make it work. You just can't have a cheat day on this type of eating plan. Because the goal of the way you eat here, with the products you'll see here that I'll talk about, is that you want to get into a state of ketosis. And ketosis just means that your body is utilizing fat for energy, and it burns off what's called ketones, which is about, a lot of the times I'm wearing these shirts, I really believe in this type of eating. I try to take out the carbs. I try to get just about 20 grams of carbs a day. It's very low. And usually my carbs will come in such thing as the greens, the leafy greens, the crunchy greens, stuff like that. And then most of my calories will come from fats, healthy fats, and proteins. Now I try to keep my protein down to a moderate. I don't want to do a high protein diet, because with higher protein, your body will tend to do a process called gluconeogenesis. And what that does is it takes excessive protein and turns it into sugar. Now, I don't want too much sugar. I don't take any sugar in. I don't do any sugar at all. But if I take too much protein in, my body will turn that into sugar, and it defeats the whole purpose of what I'm trying to achieve. So I have to keep my proteins usually under about 100 grams a day. This takes a little trial and error, but it'll definitely pay off. All right, the first thing I really want to talk about is the amount of water that I drink. Now, I have a jug that I use. It's this is about a half gallon size, and I'll drink 1 or 2 to 3 of these a day. Okay, the water is essential to weight loss. And you want to keep your body hydrated. You want to keep all that fluid coming in. It's the whole process of your body being dehydrated is so detrimental to an eating plan. It really backfires on you if you don't drink enough water. Now, you're going to get frustrated with the scale, like I mentioned earlier, about water weight. Don't deplete the water just to see a better number on the scale. I've done that before, and it just doesn't really benefit you, because it's just water weight. It's just going to come right back the next time you drink some water. So you want to do plenty of water, let the body run properly. That's what you want. All right, like I said, I go with a lot of leafy greens and crunchy greens with salads. Now I like the kale, the romaine, and the spinach. I like that mix, and that's what I tend to do. There's a couple different fast food places, actually. One locally that's called Red Leaf, and it is by far the greatest salad restaurant I've ever been to. And it's just strictly salads, pretty much. But anyway, regardless of that, some of the other things that I'm going to eat throughout the day are going to be like my eggs, my bacon. Try to get farm eggs. if you can. And then bacon. You want to go with either an uncured bacon or even a smoked bacon. But look in the package, read the label, and on the label just make sure that it's either uncured, or make sure that it doesn't have salt or sugar added to it. That's the key to the bacon part. Okay. Some of the other fats that I tend to have is an avocado with my salad, or just guacamole. Just throw a dollop of guacamole on there, and you're going to get those healthy fats in. And consume more fats. Okay. Another staple to my diet was this. It's Kerrygold Irish butter. It's made from grass-fed cows. It's one of the best butters on the market. And the way I use this is I actually put this in my coffee in the morning. And that'll be a whole nother video where I use this type of butter and MCT oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride oil. It's just a really better coconut oil than regular coconut oil. And I have 2 different versions of it that I use. But it's probably something I consume just about every morning. All right. Some of the other things I'm going to talk about here are all the other oils. I have avocado oil. This is a smaller version of coconut oil, but it has a buttery flavor to it. So if I'm on the road, instead of taking my butter and my coconut oil or my MCT oil, I'm going to take a jar of this, and I'll put this in my coffee along when I'm on the road. It's a good product. It's a good way to prepare when you're actually on the road. And that's another thing that we'll do a video on, is how to prepare when you're traveling or when you're visiting other relatives or friends or family, stuff like that. All right. Now, one of the things that I do like is the bone broth. Bone broth puts a lot of nutrients back into your system. Okay, this diet is very healthy because everything you're going to eat is relatively organic. It's grass-fed meats. It's uncured bacon. It's fresh farm eggs. It's green vegetables. It's healthy fats and oils. And that's you're really getting into the basics of clean eating, really. And there's no preservatives. I don't go into the middle of the grocery store. Again, that's another video I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to show you how to read the labels, how to look for certain foods and stuff like that. But this is definitely one of the cleanest and best ways to eat. I really think that with all my research. Now, some examples of other things that I have. I have like canned chicken, canned tuna. Those are things that I'll take with me on a road trip or pack for a lunch. And what I'll do is, because most of this stuff, they try to eliminate a lot of the fat, I put the fat back in. Now this is mayonnaise. It's made from coconut oil. Okay? And then that puts my fat back into this product. And then I'll use a couple of the dill pickles and onions and stuff like that. Things that I'm allowed to have. Okay. I do use a Himalayan sea salt and black pepper on my eggs. Himalayan sea salt is a little bit better than the iodized salt. You don't really want to go with that type of salt. It's not really healthy for you. Now, when I make my salads, like I was mentioning earlier, I use a salad dressing. A lot of times I use an Italian that I make, and I'll use the packet, plus I'll use the jar that comes with it. Now the jar basically has a very easy directions on the jar itself, and it'll tell you add this much oil, add this much water, put the packet in, shake well. There's your high fat oil that you want to use for your salads, and it really will boost you into ketosis. Chicken breasts, like I have here, I just use individually packaged chicken breasts. I'll put a couple of them on the grill to start out my week, get them all ready, and so that I have fresh food ready to go, and I'm prepared for the week, so I'm not making bad decisions throughout the week. Okay. Some of the other oils that are allowed to be out there, you're going to see on an extra virgin olive oil, usually in a dark bottle. Dark bottle tends to make the olive oil last longer. I read that somewhere, not sure exactly where. Walnuts, another good fat that I have. In the beginning, you don't want to do too many of nuts and seeds because we don't tend to control ourselves with them. The amount of serving on a walnut or pecans or almonds and stuff like that, we tend to overeat them, and then you get way too many calories for what you should be doing. Okay, this is just another version of coconut oil, a little larger jug that I have for the house. And if I'm out of MCT oil, I will use this in my coffee. It's just coconut oil. Now, there's a lot of companies out there that are making products for paleo, for the keto diet, like the one that I'm on, and they're not bad. I've looked at this product here. If you really miss bread, this isn't a bad alternative. Now, I'm not saying make this and eat the whole pack and eat all the muffins that it makes or all the bread that it makes, but maybe make some, give some away, do what you have to do, get your cravings gone. And cravings are okay, but you have to realize what they are. They're just your body trying to fight back. It's just really trying to fight back. And this diet will make your body try to fight back. In the very beginning, you're going to have this feeling, it's almost flu-like, and it's your body detoxing off of sugars, off of carbs. It's not something that's really convenient, or not convenient. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not a happy feeling. You feel nauseous, you feel sick, and it doesn't last. It's only a day to 2 days, but it's, for me, when I get into that ketosis, I really kind of look forward to those days, because that's when I know my body has actually quit relying on the carbohydrates, quit relying on the glucose and the sugar for my energy, and has switched over to using my fat for energy. And at that point, I'm accepting of that sick feeling. Okay, this basically is just a powdered version of MCT oil. I can also take that with me on a trip. Small, it's a resealable bag, and it makes my coffee taste a little bit better. You've probably already heard numerous times about an apple cider vinegar. About a shot of this 1 or 2 times a day. It actually it will help speed up your metabolism. It's been shown to do that, and with a good diet plan and exercise. This product is proven. It will work for you. Okay. I don't know of much else that I could show you. The grass-fed beef that I have. You have to look for it to say grass-fed beef. That's what you have to look for. It has to say the grass-fed, or it's just not. You're gonna see labels as natural, healthy, stuff like that, and they don't have to actually be natural. Like, they could say farm fresh eggs. If you're not really getting them from a farm, the labels are sometimes misleading. Cage free. It doesn't always mean the best for them. There's different ways that manufacturers can manipulate the name of it and makes it sound a little bit better. So on those eggs, just look for a place that actually sells farm eggs, and if not, splurge the money and get the better eggs from, say, a health food store or your local eatery or something like that. As 2 supplements that I recommend for you while you're on this diet are going to be potassium and magnesium. It's just a way that I add a little bit of these servings to my coffee in the morning or to my water, and there's no real taste to them. They're a little, maybe a little salty-ish, kind of, or metallic, but as the benefits that potassium and magnesium give to you is a little bit better, because when you're cutting weight and your body is starting to use up energy, these products will keep you from utilizing your body, trying to utilize some of your muscle as energy and trying to break down some of your muscle tissue. It'll keep you from what they call atrophying, and that's you don't want to lose muscle, because the muscle that you gain is actually going to speed up your metabolism. The more muscle that you tend to tone up, the more muscle fibers you tend to get activated, the more muscle fibers you create. It's going to speed up your metabolism, and it's going to help you lose weight in a healthier and faster way. Oh, the coconut milk. Coconut milk, this I use, what I'll do is I'll put this in the refrigerator or in the freezer. I'll chill it up, and it comes out as like a cream. Not like a cream, but more of a solid cream. And I'll mix in almonds, I'll mix in blueberries, I'll mix in other things like that, and I'll freeze it back up. Because every once in a while I will crave ice cream, and this will give me take away that craving. It's not the best alternative, but it's one of the alternatives that I use. So I can't think of anything else that I need to tell you, except for the fact that I don't eat fruit anymore. Not like apples, bananas, and oranges. What I'll do is I'll have berries. I'll have the strawberries, the blueberries. I'll have, the antioxidant type of berries, the blackberries. And I only have those occasionally, because for me, I realize that the carbohydrates in those fruits, the sugars in those fruits, even though it's a sugar fruit, it still spiked my blood sugar. And when your body's blood sugar spikes, your pancreas will release insulin, and insulin will then tell your body to store fat. And my whole goal is to not store fat, but to burn fat. And that's what this whole diet is about teaching your body, eating this way will get your body to burn off the fat that you continually store. Now, the diets that we tend to follow on the food pyramid that the government advertises, telling us we have to have like 6 servings of carbs and fruits a day and all this other stuff, it just doesn't make any sense. Because when we started taking fat out of our diets, we started getting fatter. Our country got more obese. Our country experienced more heart disease. Our country's diabetic rate just shot through the roof. Because once you take the fat out of a food, that's the flavor. That is the flavor. And then they supplement it with that fat to make it more palatable, to make it taste better, with sugar. And that's a terrible, terrible idea. And you've heard the stories about the high glucose or high fructose corn syrup, and how cheap it is for a manufacturer to add that to your food. It's just not a good alternative. Go with the basic foods. Get your body off of the dependence of carbohydrates and sugars, because honestly, we don't need them like everybody's been taught to believe. It's not they're not the best way for your body to utilize our energy. We get a better energy boost from fats and ketones than we do from sugars and carbs. When you feel that, for instance, when you feel that sugar high, okay, what that really is your body reacting to you putting sugar, which your body feels is a toxin, and it's trying to get rid of it. Now it's trying to push it as fast as it can out of your system. It's not you having all this energy, it's your body going into a reaction that you've just basically you've poisoned it. And that's a thing that people really need to start realizing, that sugar is not a very good product at all. It's a terrible product. When I had started this diet back in 2015, I had done it for about a year and a half, and I kept the weight off. It was the last 6 months where I actually stopped doing the diet. I went back to a little bit of the carbohydrates and stuff. I thought I'd be able to handle it, and I did. I gained the weight, and I gained it pretty fast. And by the time I was able to do something about it, that's when I actually had a bout of appendicitis. My appendix actually burst, and I ended up in surgery for a long time, for a few hours. I ended up in the ICU for a few days, and the doctors said I was pretty lucky. And I knew what was going on to a point. I thought maybe it was my gallbladder, but I was in denial. I didn't think, well, it can't be my appendix. I didn't know why I didn't think that, but I just had this feeling that I didn't think it was my appendix. And, you know, long story short, listen to your body. When your body is hurting, go figure out what you're going to do about it. Go find a specialist. Go talk to somebody. If you're, don't wait till something bad happens. And it's this whole diet is about feeling what your body's feeling. You have to really get in touch with yourself. You have to get an idea of how your body works and how your body uses this energy. And it will take some time for your body to get into ketosis. It's not a 2-day thing or instantaneous. This could take 2 or 3 weeks for your body, for you to eat so clean and no cheat days, and to finally get into a state of ketosis. But once you're in that, the fat just comes off fast. You're going to see belly fat disappear fast. You're going to see your face get thinner. You're going to see your hands, your arms, everything, your feet, your legs, everything's starting to lose weight. And the results are just going to be so beneficial. You're going to see those results, and you're going to get so motivated. But you have to put in the work. You have to follow the program. You have to push yourself and make sure you don't cheat. I'm not one of those people that believes in a cheat day, because all of this food, it tastes pretty good. You're not missing out on anything. Sugar is not a treat. It's just bad. Carbohydrates, yeah, we've always used carbohydrates as happy foods, donuts or pancakes or French toast, and there are ways around that if you are just really looking. I will talk more about that in another video, I'm sure, with my nutrition, because this is such a long topic and I don't want to drag this video out too long. But the benefits to eating like this, the way all this food tastes, it's really, really healthy. It's really, really good. And you're not missing out on anything. A hot fudge sundae, that's what, a couple minutes, but then it's just wreaks havoc on your body. Or just a big giant sub sandwich. It's just the bread and the carbs and the preservatives in the sliced meats and the lunch meats. It's just so unhealthy. So you have to prepare your foods. You have to know what you're going with. You have to put some effort into this. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Like my sign says in my gym, anything that you're going to get is not going to just come to you easy. You have to work for this. And this diet, it's a challenge for most people. I've picked it. I've created it. It's a combination of a bunch of different ones. But I know that this works for me. Now, these are my suggestions to you, and I've watched seminars from Australia. I've watched seminars in California. I've watched seminars in Norway and Sweden. Some of these countries that have switched away from our diet, the standard American diet, the SAD diet, and they've switched to a high fat, high carb, or a high fat, low carb diet, because they know that the standard American diet will actually make you gain weight, will actually make you less healthier as opposed to what this will actually do. And I don't want to get into how much I learned from there and why, but one of the main things that I'll tell you about that I learned is that as long as we've been studying life expectancies, when we changed our diet back in the late 80s, early 90s to the standard American diet, we've done studies now that found out that our children will now live a less amount of years, a less life expectancy than us. And that's the first time that's ever happened. Every generation, for as long as we've been making these studies, seems to live longer than the previous generation, except for now. Now our kids are actually expected to have a shorter life than we are. And that could be the way we've been giving them foods. The fast foods that are out there, the junk food that's out there. We have to get back to the basics, like our grandparents. Our grandparents using fat when they cook, farm fresh vegetables and farm fresh meats and healthy fats. That is going to be the key to getting your body back into the healthiest state that it can get into. And if you want to give this a try, stick with me, because I'm going to be sticking with this. This is the plan that I'm going to actually do. I hope that this helped a lot of you out there. I hope it wasn't too long and too boring, but this is what I'm passionate about. This is what's going to actually keep me to lose 75% or 80% of the weight that I want to lose. I could do all the cardio and all the weightlifting that I want, but if only 20 to 25% of my results will come from my gym, then I really have to focus on this as well. This is the key. This is just the key to my goal here, my quest. And I know that it works because, like I'll add to the video, you'll see that I had that transformation once before, and sadly I went back to some old eating habits, and it comes back. All I'm saying now in a whole thing is just eat healthier. Just eat healthier. Stop believing that you have to eat carbohydrates. Stop believing that carbs are your only source of energy. Stop believing that you have to have a sugar high in order to work out. And with this diet, there's no amount of calories it's going to tell you to start putting in right away. There's no specific meals it's going to say, oh, you must eat these 5 meals a day. That's part of the standard American diet. And for me, I followed a lot of what Dr. Eric Westman, Duke University physician and nutritionist, and the author of the new Atkins Diet book. He's very informative, and he has this page called Page 4, and it will really give you a good idea of how and what foods to eat. And he specifically says, I'm not going to tell you how many calories to eat, and I'm only going to tell you eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. And the difference is that your body will know when it's full. It will know. It will know much sooner. Your portions will get smaller. I didn't believe it. I was eating 4 eggs and 8 pieces of bacon in the very beginning. And then now I've basically cut down to 1 egg and 2 pieces of bacon, and I feel the same. I feel just as full as I did when I was eating the more eggs and more bacon. So you naturally start to bring your portion size down, and you will naturally start to feel healthy. And on this diet, I didn't feel hungry. I never felt hungry, because my brain would know that I was full much quicker on eating a high-fat food than it would if I was just eating carbohydrates. Like carbohydrates, you could end up eating more bowls of cereal or more slices of pizza or more sandwiches or a bigger submarine sandwich. And it just, the carbs just tell your brain, keep eating, keep eating, keep eating. And a lot of that is what pharmaceutical companies want you to do. They've done the studies on the health since the late 80s. They've come up with all the ideas of how we should eat, and it just so happens that we end up dependent on pharmaceuticals at the end of our lives. That we end up having to take diabetes medicine, high blood pressure medicine. You know, our cancers are on a rise, and knowing that cancer feeds off of sugar, to me, I'm eliminating the sugar. I don't want to take any advantages for sickness to take over me. I don't want to be a diabetic. I don't want to be cancer ridden. I don't want to be. I want to put everything into my body that I know is very healthy and clean. All right, I'm going to end it like that. I'm sorry I rambled on a lot, but this is something I really need to get through to my viewers, and I think this will actually help a lot of you. It will help me, and you will see, as long as you stick with me and watch me over the next couple weeks and months and maybe a year, I will lose the weight that I want to lose. My goal is to get shredded, and I didn't want to hit 300 pounds again, but I hit 298.5 when I started. And I won't do another weigh-in for another week or so, because I'm doing mine every 2 weeks. Now, you guys can do yours as much as you want, like I said in the other videos, but this diet is going to take a couple weeks for it to kick in, and so those results are not going to happen right away. So don't get impatient. Stick with the diet. Push yourself. And keep going gonzo. Thanks, guys. See you next time.